Maja, and you can find me as sjomajlin on Instagram or Ravelry, and it is spelled out there. I don't know, it's spelled out here on the page if you need to find the spelling. Today is Friday the 11th of March. Yes, it is. And I'm coming to you from Jönköping, Sweden, as usual. A neighboring house has construction. They are changing the roof, and yeah, if there are construction noises coming through, I'm sorry. I can't really do a lot about it. We're having a lovely sunny day here. It's still quite cold. There's still snow on the ground, where most of the day there is shadow. But the sun is really starting to warm up, and yeah, it's quite nice. Spring is coming, so that's good. The neighbor over in that direction, their garden is just magical, and it has already got a bunch of flowers in the garden. And I have a sneeze, at least one. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I am knitting a little bit. I'm just about to bind these off, and I'll show them to you in a minute, hopefully as a finished object then. And just with the angle of the camera, I am working just out of shot, and I'm sorry for that, but I'll show you in a few minutes. Just looking to see what I'm doing. I'm just starting the bind off on camera. Exciting. Maybe. Okay, so it's been a week since last. That dinner thing that I mentioned I was going to on Friday was lovely, of course. We were about 20 people there, out of who? Out of which? I don't know. I had met one person before, so there were a lot of new people to get to know, and it was nice. We had rented like a school kitchen, so we started off by making the food together. We made like what's the word? Casseroles? Stews? Like Indian casseroles, I think that's the word. And then we ate together, and we talked and talked and talked, and then we played some games. And then all of a sudden it was past midnight, and I don't know what happened. We had a really good time, so that was good. And then on Tuesday this week I actually met up with a few of them again, in a cafe, where we talked, and then we played a card game there as well. So that was really nice. Sorry for looking down. My plan was to have these done before I started recording, but then time sort of ran away from me, and I really want to have them done. And since I'm just on the bind off, I will be done, you know, soon-ish. So bear with me, please. Yeah, so that was good. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. There was no choir practice this week because it was no choir practice this week. Sorry, there's a weird sound. I'm guessing it's from outside. Sometimes I just, you know, hear something and then I can't unhear it. No, I don't know what it is. Sorry. Yes, and the choir would have been yesterday, so on Thursday. But yesterday was knit night, so it turned out good that there was no choir practice this week, so I didn't miss it. So we had knit night yesterday, and it was lovely as usual. I had a really crappy day, or I had a really crappy week this week. and I had a really bad day yesterday, so it was really good to meet them. And some other of the ladies also seemed to have had a really crappy day, so we were just sort of laughing at our in the good way. It was really nice. So on Wednesday I was working from home, and I was like in a bad mood, and I was, I don't know, I was tired and sort of dizzy, and yeah, it was just, I was just off. And then I had a scheduled appointment to go, and I don't know if this is like an international thing and if there is a name for it, but at least here in Sweden, we need to have our cars checked out at this like car testing facility every so often. I don't really know, and it depends a bit on how old the car is and so on. And if you don't check it out, it will be illegal to drive the car, and that's on the car. It's not on my license, but it's on the car. And if it doesn't go through the checkout, you need to have it fixed or have it seen to. So it's a safety thing, which is good, of course. So I had that on Wednesday, and it wasn't cleared, which is just sucky. So now I have a month to have the stuff done that needs to be done, and then I have to recheck it to, you know, let them know that I had it done. And of course, I mean, this is good because, sorry, this is a good thing, of course, because it's for safety, and these things I would not have known to check out for myself, because it is like underneath the car, like within the steering joints and stuff, and I don't know how to check that stuff. So I mean, it's a good thing, of course it is, but it is stressful and expensive, and it is expensive owning a car at all. So, and my car is pretty new. It is, I bought it new 6 years ago, so I mean, it's not new, but it's pretty new. And last year I had to fix some steering joint thing, and now they seem to be faulty again, and yeah, so that's just so stressful. And then yesterday, Thursday, I went into the office to get some work done, and when I went to find the document that I had been working on from home on Wednesday, it was all gone. And I mean, I'm sure it was that I completely forgot to save it. It's probably all my fault. But that's just how, and excuse my language, that's just how crappy that day was. So yesterday was not all that much better. And when I was home for lunch yesterday, I was chopping up some carrots and onions to, like, just, you know, put in a pot and boil, yeah. And I managed to, like, pour 3 chopped carrots and an onion straight down my shirt. I don't even know. Yeah, so it's been an interesting week. And then I use interesting in the very negative way. Well, it is what it is, and I have a pair of scissors over there. First one done. Need to weave in the end still, of course. So yeah. I think there was something else I thought to mention. I don't know. But I just have the other half of this fingerless mitt to bind off before I can show you things. So let me share just a little bit. So, well, I'm doing this. I am planning on, because I was like, I just need, you know, I'm not stressed, really, but it's just too much going on in my head right now. So anyway, tonight I am planning on going to my parents to pick up the key for a cabin out in the woods. And then what did I just do? I don't know, it'll be fun. Then I'm planning on going there tomorrow. So it is a cabin like out in the woods. There is electricity but no running water, with everything that that implies for hygiene purposes. Is that a word? Yeah, so my plan is to go there, just sit, you know, if it's sunny I'll sit out in the sun, if it's not I'll probably be inside because it will be cold. You know, lighting a fire and knitting, reading, and alternating between staring into the fire or staring out on the trees. Drinking loads of tea. And my plan is to also spend the night there in front of the fire, just listening to the silence. And I think that will be nice. I think that's just what I need to spend. I love the internet, but it also distracts me a lot of the time. I think you can understand and relate. So to spend some time, you know, really away from internet. So there is some cell phone reception up there. And it is enough to be able to check on not Ravelry, I was gonna say Instagram. Or, you know, just check Facebook messages or so. Excuse me. But it's not enough to sort of, you know, be on the internet. So I think that will be just lovely. So that's my plan for the weekend. And let's go to the knitting stuff. I just finished these. They are not, I need to weave in the ends still, obviously. So these are little fingerless mitts. Let me see if I can just poke the thumb out. They look super wonky. I held 2 strands together, so it looks like a lot to weave in, but it's still just sort of 4 ends. I used the same yarn that I knit my Still Light tunic out of, which is baby wool from Viking, and it is superwash merino in a charcoaly black colorway. And as I said, I had 2 strands together and I used size 3 meal needles. I started these 4 times yesterday, I think, and had to rip back. Yeah, so I've spent quite a few hours on just these small little fingerless knits. So these are for my nephew. And they look like really, really tiny here in the ribbing, but I do think, I mean, it is stretchy. I do think that they're gonna fit him, because, yeah, I think so. I'll meet him on Sunday, so I'll give this to him then, or try them on him at least, and if they don't fit him, I'll make him another pair. If it wouldn't have been for casting on and knitting and ripping out and casting on and knitting and ripping out, it's a very quick little project. So if they don't fit him, I'll just make him another pair, and that's fine. So yeah, I'll obviously weave in the ends, but otherwise these are a finished objects. Good, Maya, good. And then I have some stuff. I showed you last time well, I just meant to say also that I knit these on 3 mil needles. I showed you my version of the handbrake cowl last week in this lilac-y cotton. And I mentioned that my plan was to stick it, or to cut it open, and to make it into a blanket, and that's happened. It is quite square. I thought it would be more rectangular, is that the word? Like drawn out, but it's quite square. What I did, since I did not plan on sticking or on cutting this open in the first place, and since it is cotton, and I posted pictures of this to Instagram, I first sewed, I don't know how to use that word, but I think you know what I mean anyway, 2 columns of stitches where I poked the needle through the plies of the yarn, all the way up and down, and then outside of that I crocheted through the knitted stitches, and then I cut it open, and then I picked up stitches all the way around, and I was thinking about how to do this, if I would make sort of, you know, the log cabin blanket where you pick up the border stitches and make them sort of like that, if you know what I mean, so that the corners are I decided to pick up all around at once, so I did. So here, for example, you can see that there's a corner. So I did this in blue, as you can see, and I also did the sewn and crocheted defense lines in blue, so it's easier to see, and yeah. Then I did the border in this contrasting, or yeah. So I picked up all the way around, and then in the very corner stitch, when I knitted, in the very corner stitch I did knit 1, yarn over, and knit 1 into the same stitch, so that stitch becomes 3. And then on the next row I made the knit 1, yarn over, knit 1 in the yarn over, so that on each row it becomes 3. So 1 stitch travels right out the diagonal, and 1 stitch adds to the sides, if that makes any sense. And then I was thinking if I would pick up, so when you pick up stitches you have like these sort of stitches, loops, on the other side that I also wanted to pick up and knit up, so that the stick or the edges would be, you know, inside, just like that. So I was thinking about picking them up on a separate needle and knit them out to the same length, and then do a 3 needle bind off. But what I ended up doing was, after having knit 3 rounds, maybe, I don't know, because then I pulled through. Well, anyway, about 3 rounds of stockinette or stocking stitch, I then made a purl row that you can see there. And I'm sorry for my nails, but that's just what it is this week. So I made a purl row to make it fold nicer. Oh, and it's quite heavy, so it's pulling down on its own weight. And then I continued knitting, which then I folded down. And then in the corner stitch I did slip 2 as if to knit 2 together, knit 1 stitch, pass the slip stitches over. So I made, instead of making 1 stitch become 3, I made 3 stitches become 1. So it folds back in on itself. So this is the back side. And then when I had made the other side of the purl row in stocking stitch again, to the same length as the, yeah, so there were 2 halves. My plan was to pick up those other ends of the first stitches that I picked up, and, well, pretty much make a 3 needle bind off. So I started doing that, and it was really hard to pick up those stitches, so I had to I ended up having to first go round all of the way to just pick up those stitches and just move the stitches over. So I picked up a stitch and then moved a stitch over from one of the live stitches, and then I picked up and moved a live stitch so that I had them alternating. Excuse me. And that took a few days actually. I think that took 2 days worth of knitting time. It was a huge job. And then when I had picked them all up, I could just knit 2 together, bind off, knit 2 together, bind off, knit 2 together, bind off. So at that point it was very quick. So you can see that there is the bind off row just there. So it is pretty much a 3 needle bind off, as I said. And that you might be able to see that this edge is thicker than this edge, and it's because in here is the crochet. This is the original edge, so it's just the edge. In here is the crocheted edge, the sewn edge, and the cut edge. So you can actually see that the cut yarn is poking through in some places, and I don't really want to pull on it. I think it'll just have to be as it is. Yeah. So as I mentioned last time, I mean, this will go to charity as like a baby blanket or something. But the main idea with this was because I realized I don't use this cowl. Not that there's anything wrong with the pattern or anything. It was my take on the handbrake cowl, so it wasn't really the handbrake cowl either. But I just didn't wear it, so I thought I would use this as an exercise in cutting and securing the cut edges. And I think I did pretty good. And especially, again, since this was cotton, or is cotton, it is easier to cut and stick and cut in wool, as long as it's not super washable. So, I didn't do a lot of knitting on this week. I just did the blue parts, which still was a lot of work. So most of the knitting wasn't done now, but it's still a finished object of this week, I would say. And then I did spinning. I showed you one bobbin with singles last week, and the roving braid. I don't really know the terms. The second, so that I had 2 bobbins with singles and applied them up to a 2-ply, and excuse me. Whoa, I look so pale today. I don't know. I'm winter pale. That's fine. When I spun it up, I had some left, so I'll just show you this first. I had some left on one of the bobbins when the other ran out. I wound that up on my yarn winder into a center pulled cake and 2-plied it onto itself. So this is about 7 or 8 grams and about 20 meters. And it's just the green, and you'll see in the other one that there are more colors, but you know, it's always good to have that little part as well. So this is the main skein with some different colors, as you can see. This is 104 grams, and it turned out to be about 285 meters. And let me just reach over here so that I can tell you that this was hand-painted wool from Gammaldags i Kungsäter. And their site is gammaldags.se, for those of you. I have no idea if they will ship internationally, but I know that some my Swedish friends are watching. So this is BFL, and the colorway is called Midnight Pine Forest, and I think that is just spot on. So, as I said, I did a 2-ply, so there is some color variations in this. Mainly it is greens, which is the same, well, this green, And then there is like a teal, very pale teal, and then there is this midnight blue. And with the 2-ply, it turned out to be some Barbara pulling. Who is Barbara? Honestly, who is Barbara? Why is it called that? With some green on pale teal, teal on blue, blue and green. And I really, really enjoy this. Here are some lovely colors. You can see the purple that I just tied it off with, but yeah, I really like this. There's a lot of green. The blue comes out stronger because it is more vibrant. When I rinsed this, or sorry, soaked it, it bled a lot. As blues tend to do, I think. So I had some wool wash in, but then I also added citric acid. When I soak yarns in wool wash, like non-rinse wool wash, I don't rinse. But since I had citric acid in as well, I pulled that water out, and then I added new water to rinse it. And in the second water there was no color at all. So if that means that all the excess color came out the first time, or if that means that the citric acid actually locked in the remaining colors, I don't know. But there was a lot of color in the first water, so I do believe that the citric acid made a difference. So I'm very happy with that. Yeah. And as I said, just over 100 grams, 285 meters, so that is pretty decent. I absolutely do still consider myself to be a very newbie spinner. I don't know, obviously I don't know any of the words, but yeah, I mean my aim is to spin thin and not, and fairly even. And even though this is absolutely has some thick and thin going on, it is, I am very pleased with the result. To me it is, I don't know what words to use. Can you see with the light? I am very happy with the result. I think I did a good job. I did a really good job. Go! Go! So those are the finished objects that I have. Again, that steeking thing took so much time. It's ridiculous. And then I have some works in progress. Let me just move that over, because that'll go back into my stash. I said that I would show you the sweater that I've previously made of this yarn, and I'll show you that project in a minute. And when I promise something, I'll keep it. I'm not wearing this sweater today, but I have it to show you. I made this this summer. So this is blue with green sleeves. This pattern was out of a magazine, and it is a weird construction with, I mean, there aren't really any shoulders. It's a very drop shoulder style sweater, and it's really kind of, I like it. It's not very easily worn, if that's how you say it, but I like it. So with the leftover yarns, I am making some sort of a t-shirt that I showed you last week as well. And I've just, and I mean just, separated for the sleeves. They are on scrap yarn. You can't really see it. It looks, I've seen this a few times when I'm like, all the stitches has fallen off, but there is scrap yarn in there, I promise. So I've just separated for the sleeves. I haven't even knitted the first round of the body yet. But yeah, it's knit top down with raglan increases. And I'm planning to do some sort of raglan-esque increases in the sides to make sort of a flare bottom. But I'll have to work down a bit further to see how much yarn I have and so on. Yeah, and my plan is to just pick up, pick up the sleeve stitches and knit maybe 2 rounds and then like 3 rounds of, and I haven't decided if I want ribbing or garter for the edge, but I'm planning to make the sleeves not at all much longer than just the separating for the body length. I think you know what I mean, even though I think that's probably not how you say it. Again, it's been one of those weeks again, so my brain is all over the map. And I just missed my mouth when I was trying to drink tea. I am working on the shawl out of my hand spun. This has had very, very little love. I don't think that the Progress Keeper is... I think I moved it during the week. I don't think that it is. It's just there. Granted, I don't think it has had much more love than those rows, but I don't think that that is completely accurate. So it's not really much to see, but I love this cake, it's huge, and I have this in this basket. Not very much to see at all, and there is a dried piece of carrot from the little carrot accident yesterday, because this was in the kitchen. Well, anyway. And then my last work in progress is the sweater that I've been working on for quite a while now. It's out of self-striping sock yarn. It's knit top down, raglan increases. I think that this Progress Keeper might possibly be, you know, keeping actual progress. So it's had, I don't know, 3 centimeters maybe. Oh, it's hard to show you in this yarn. It doesn't really come through, but it's up there. And again, sorry for my nails. Yeah. The other projects haven't had all that much love because, yeah, that blanket took up a lot of time. And also I spun half the singles for this and plied it, so that obviously takes some time too. Yeah. I did post a picture to Instagram of this yarn that has been in my line of sight. What do you say? Like, it's been out so that I can see it. It is Sun Valley Fibers. I don't know if the yarn base is called something, but it is 100% superwash merino single ply, fingering weight. I did win these yarns in Sword of a Knitter's 11th episode giveaway, and I was very happy to win them, and I haven't had a plan for them until now. So this turquoisey light blue is called Refreshing. This grey is called Smoke Signals. And there's a kitty outside my window. Haven't seen that before. And this red, or yeah, red, is Robust. And it's all the same yarn. These are solids, but with a lot of depth. And, well, you can see that they are not super solid, but they are solids. And this week I got inspired by all the people who are making the 3-color cashmere cowl by Joji Locatelli. And I thought of these yarns, and I am thinking I'll go for it. These don't have any cashmere, so it'll be the 3-color non-cashmere cowl. But I think that will work out fine. So I did print the pattern for those of you who don't know what it is. And there's my work logo. It's ABF if you're curious. Yeah, someone asked. I'll talk a little bit about that later. So it is a beautiful cowl. Let me show you some more pictures. With different colors and stripes and sections going through it. And I think I made up my mind to do it with these yarns. I haven't started it yet because I can't have too much going on at the same time. And also I've been trying to figure out in what order to put in the colors. And I think I might have made up my mind, but I'm not sure. So that'll have to marinate for a little bit longer. So yeah, tell me what you think if you have an idea. I also did get some new stuff this week. Because, do I need any better reason? Don't think so. I got a new Shaigu needle. I actually did knit with this already. I started knitting these fingerless mitts with just one thread, and then I knit with these. So these are 2mm needles. The Shaigu premium stainless steel 40-inch cable. Why do I even say that? 100 centimeters cable, a meter cable, and 2mm needles. Yeah, I really do like these. I like the cable. And then, I'm sorry about this noise, I also got some yarn. So these are all, I believe, yes, the same. It's onion knit from Onion DK, or onion.dk, sorry. It's called Fino, I don't know. Organic wool and nettles. And it is so soft. And it said in the description that the nettle fiber sort of acts as polyamide or nylon would. So it is 70% organic wool and 30% nettle fibers. Each skein has 50 grams and is about 130 meters. And I got these, oh, whoa, I got these different colors, and as you can see, especially in this red one, the wool and the nettle fibers absorb the dye a little bit differently, which makes this amazing depth of color, and yeah, it's just lovely. So let me see if I can find... No, I can't find any colorway names. This grey, or very light grey, is 809. It looks a little bit more blue on my little screen here than it does in real life, but it's a very cold, very pale grey. This brown is called 805, and it is very, very rich, chocolatey, coffee, and also slightly, I don't want to say tonal, but yeah, I don't know. And this red is 808. And they are just gorgeous. These will become a pair of mittens, the Gudrun mittens, and I am planning to make myself a pair of shorty socks with this, because I think it will be enough. Maybe. Otherwise I'll do something else. So yes, I bought those. And I also got these. Completely an impulse buy. This is called Handmade by Love. Handmade with Love by me. It is 80% acrylic and 20% mohair, 50 grams per ball, and that's about 200 meters. So that's the label right there. I did get this on Netto as well, so it is sort of a non-brand yarn, I guess. This is color 5. And I got 2 balls of this. Which is, they had some different colors and I just fell in love with the colors. And I've squeezed it before and I was like, no, I don't need it. And it's 80% acrylic. And I'm not going to say anything bad about acrylic, because acrylic is definitely, it has its place, absolutely. I use acrylic sometimes, but I don't feel as though I need to get more acrylic in my stash right now. But yesterday, when I had a couple of really bad days, I saw this again and I was like, yeah, I'm going for it. So I got 2 of these and I'm thinking I'll make something pretty, maybe sort of the Linus shawl again, something just, you know, easy, that will be like drapey, flowy, because this is so soft. And this is a thin yarn, so it will be like very airy and cloud-like. So yeah. Stuff happens. What you gonna do? Yes, someone had asked me what I do for work, or what my work is, and someone also asked on the cello clip a few weeks back about my musical training. So I'll talk a little bit about that. That's all the knits and content I have for you. So if you want to leave, that's completely fine. Do take care and I'll see you next time. And if you want to stick around, you're very welcome. So what I do for work is sort of within the musical training line. So I'm thinking I'll just go, you know, sort of chronologically. And I'll try to keep it somewhat short. I started singing in the children's choir when I was little. As most people do, I guess. When I was... my older brother started playing the clarinet at some point, I don't really know. I guess it was when he was 9, so that was probably when I was about 4. Because when you're 9, you are invited to the like music school thing, where you have like a class of like 20 minutes a week with on an instrument. And so my brother did that, as I said, and then when I was invited to, so you're invited to this like try all the instruments day, to find out what you would be interested in. So now, when I was invited to that, I had thought from earlier that I will also play the clarinet because my older brother did it. But when we were there, I tried some different instruments and I debated whether I would choose the flute. I don't know what it's called in English, but not this flute, but this flute. I guess you hold it like that. If that makes any sense. So I was debating whether I loved that more or the cello more, and so my parents were like, you know, that cello though. So I ended up playing the cello. So I started playing the cello when I was 9. And I was pretty good. Even from the start. I mean, I was a newbie at the start, of course, but I picked it up pretty quickly. And then when I was 13-ish, there were 3 options in school, like regular school. You could do like normal school, or you could choose extra sports and PE, or you could choose sort of extra music and drama. It's not by a lot, but a little bit. So I chose the music and drama class. And at that point I was very interested in music. My brother had taught himself to play, he's quit playing the clarinet. He played the saxophone for a little while, but then he quit that too. He taught himself to play the guitar. And so we had a guitar at home and a bass. Is that what you say? So at some point, I think I was like 14 at that time, or 15, he and I were sort of jamming, playing together. So he taught me, or I got to play the bass. And we chose songs, or he picked songs in good keys, so that I pretty much just had to find the 3 chords, or the 3 notes, and then we could, you know, do something together, and it was so much fun. And then he went for a trip for about 2 weeks, and I just made up my mind that when he gets back, I shall be able to play a song on the guitar. So I taught myself to play the guitar, just like that. Not very well at that point, but I learned some chords so that I could play. So that was lovely. And then at that point, when I was 15, I also started taking singing lessons, because I wanted to apply for, so the next level of school, upper secondary, you can then go but quite specifically on different areas, I guess, in school. So everyone has to do like maths and English and Swedish and history and, you know, those sort of subjects. But then you can choose, there are a couple of different, like, more practical programs where you train to become hairdresser, or like the lowest, I don't know what it's called, like the lowest rank of nurse, or construction worker. So there are different, like, where you actually can learn, you know, a craft like that. And then there are some programs where that sort of just prepare you for further studies. So you can branch out a bit there, or branch in, I guess. So I wanted to go to the music program there. So that's why I started taking singing lessons, to sort of prepare for that. I applied for this musical line program, whatever, and I was accepted. So I had cello as my main instrument and song as my second instrument. And then at this education you also have a lot of like musical theory, choir, band, or what, like working together in a group musically. We did put on a quite serious musical production. We did the Wiz. We went to Prague for a choir contest, international choir contest, and we beat all the, what's the word? Competition. Yeah, so it's a very broad music program like that, which was nice. And at that point, with having singing lessons, I found it very hard. So, okay, I learned reading music when playing the cello, which you do with the, oh, no, what's it called? I know what it's called. The F is right there. Bass? I don't know. If you are musically inclined, you know what it is. So that's why I have this. Anyway. But you don't really use that a lot in music. You do the G. I really know these things, you guys. Just not so well in English, obviously. Well, anyway, so I was learning that other... You know what I mean, I'm sure. The thing that looks, you know, a little bit like an ampersand, which gives you the direction to find the G. Yeah. I had to learn that, and that was really difficult at first, because I had learned the F treble. I don't know. And in my singing lessons, I got songs that I had never heard before, and I got the sheet music, and I figured it was much easier figuring it out on the piano compared to the guitar, even though I knew the guitar better at that point. So I very slowly taught myself some piano, just to be able to do my singing lessons and singing assignments. And then I got, well, better and better at playing the piano. I don't play the piano like classically, like from music and like the concertos or anything. I can play some like written music like that, but what I do on the piano is mostly you know, play the chords to something else, or most often when I'm singing. Yeah, and then so that program is 3 years, and so I graduated at 19 from there, and my neighbors are just walking past my window. Sorry. They are also my landlord, so I don't want them to think that I'm crazy. Yes. And then I applied for, I went to 3 different schools for a year each that are quite informal. Folkhögskola, I don't even know what that is. It's very informal education anyway. The first year I didn't do a lot of music at all. The second year I had to take a bunch of subjects because I started to become this sort of nurse caretaker thing. And that was included in a program where you had to do like Swedish, English, maths and stuff for people who did not have the degrees from the from upper secondary, pretty much. But I had that, so I was able to switch it out. So I took singing lessons that year, I took cello lessons that year, I took some piano lessons that year, and I also added, because I really didn't want to take Swedish, so I bargained with them, so I added class where I did some composing, which I didn't do a lot of, but they still passed me. So that year was a lot of music as well. And then I applied for my 3rd year of that sort of school up in Dalarna, further north in Sweden, where I actually did go to a music program again, which was angled towards musical therapy. I am not a musical therapist though, because you need much more education for that. But that program was angled toward that, so I did take some musical psychology, methodology, like it didn't focus so much on actually performing the music, but more on what the music does to us and stuff like that. And on this school there are 3 programs for pupils or students who have, well, special needs, pretty much. And now my neighbors are coming back. Sorry. And they're staring through my window. Not the window I'm sitting by though, thankfully. Well, sorry. Sjövik, what was I saying? Yes, 3 programs with pupils with special needs. And this one teacher who taught them in music or had music with them. And so I was able to have to like be her, what do you say, assistant, I don't know, for I think it was like 80 weeks or hours per week or something like that. So I was sort of the second teacher to those groups, and I learned so much and we had such a good time. Some of the other musical, so there is this music program and then it has branches, so some of the other branches were, or I would say all of the other branches were more angled towards, you know, actually performing and, you know, being a skillful musician. But what I did was more of, you know, what can you use, using music as the tool rather than the finished product, if you will. So that was really, really nice. After that I started working as this sort of nurse, but not really any medical stuff. I've talked about this before, I don't know what to call it. It's more of a caregiver. So I worked with a guy who is, or a man who is, and I never learned this word, mentally handicapped, who needed assistance. and he works at this day center, which is, yeah, they do a lot of different things. And so I was there with him, and this man came there to have music with this group. And I was like, whoa, that sort of work had been my dream job since I was a kid. And I was like, well, that's never gonna happen. You can't work like that. And he obviously did. So I spoke to him, and he was like, well, do you play something? And I was like, yeah, I play the cello. And he was like, well, that's too bad, because, I mean, that doesn't really work in that context. And I was like, well, I do play some bit of piano as well. And I was like, whoa, that's amazing, because I really need a coworker. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm interested. So I started working with him just a few weeks later. It was right around Christmas, so it was like, you know, Christmas and New Year's break, and then in January I started working with him. So at that point I had 2 jobs. I continued on as this nurse type, caregiver, assistant job, and I worked with this music stuff as well. On Studieförbundet ABF, what is that though? Informal, educational, I don't know, like the workers, unions, movements, informal education type thing. So it has, we don't work with politics, but it is definitely red colored. And no, they are back again. Come on, what are you doing? Yeah. So yeah, we don't work with politics, but there is definitely lefty colored, or scented, or I don't know what to say. And I'm trying really hard not to look like an idiot. They're just casually strolling. Strolling by. Yes, sorry. And now they're back again. What are they doing? I don't even know. And again, the train of thought. Yes, so I was working with both of these jobs for about 5 years, I think. And then 3 years ago, possibly, there was, because I really loved that. I really did enjoy that. To combine those two. And then a few years ago, I don't know, that boss just snapped, I think, and I was like, I'm not taking this, so I quit. And now I'm working on RBF, which then is this workers, laborers, I don't know what word to use. And it is mostly with this music thing. I do some like desk work. I do have the knit group for work. I have some administrative responsibilities. But what I do mostly is to go around to these different units with elderly or mentally, again, I never learned what it's actually called. I don't mean any sort of disrespect though, I think you know that. And sing with them. So what happens when I do that is I bring an digital piano with a speaker, or I don't know what it's called. I have a microphone, I bring songbooks with lyrics in them, and I distribute them to the group, and then it depends on, you know, how like the level of the group. Sometimes they'll sing along, flip through the pages and request songs and share anecdotes and memories and stuff like that, and sometimes they don't really, you know, participate actively like that, and then it's more me singing to them. And a lot of the times the people who work there also sit down together and we do this as a together thing, which I think is very, very important. And then most of the times the people who work will also, you know, add in stuff like, oh, we can sing this song because your mother used to sing it to you. Like they can connect it even more to the, I don't know what word to use. It's not patients, but yeah, caretakers, I guess. And that's just lovely. So that's what I mostly do for work. And then that also comes with, of course, putting together materials, songs, learning songs, putting them together, like typing in the lyrics and adding pictures and printing the pages and putting them into plastic sheets, pockets, envelopes, what do you say, to make these books that I can then hand out, which is sort of desk job, but it's very closely connected to the actual singing jobs that I do. So yeah, that is sort of combined my musical education and my work. I did stop taking cello lessons at 20-ish, I would say. I was years old, yes. I still have the cello, it's right over there. And as you saw, I posted a video a few weeks ago of me playing it a little bit. I don't really keep up with it, unfortunately, because, well, there is so much music going on at work that when I come home I don't really, unfortunately, as I said. And I've always kept up singing with choirs, because, again, that is something that I really need for my soul. And yeah, that is also sort of why I finally did actually brave the singing audition or tryout for a choir, because, and I don't mean to say anything negative about these like open choirs for, well, amateurs. Well, this is an amateur choir as well, but because that's just lovely, that's amazing, but I am at a somewhat higher level and I need something a little bit more to challenge me. And yeah, that's what I do. Anything else about that? No, I don't think so. So I do have some formal musical training, but what I do for work isn't, I mean, of course I'm doing my best, and you know, but it's not really performing, it's not like high pressure like that. It's more using the music as a tool to reach people. So how do I phrase this? My work as a musician isn't really pushing me. Do you know what I mean? I am not constantly having to perform and deliver, which is good, because otherwise I would not have been able to manage. But it's more, yeah, using the music as a tool, as I said. Am I making any sense? I hope so. I hope that answered the questions that you had, because I believe that was 2 different people asking. Excuse me. And if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Either in this format, if it's a question that is suitable for that, or if you have a personal question, please send me a PM or so and I'll answer you. That was long. My tea is so cold. I'll let you go now. I don't know, my new camera doesn't have the timer on it, and I forgot to look at the time when I started recording, so I don't know how long I've been going on. I do think, however, that the camera is working out good. I was a bit worried last week when I used this for the first time that it would be, you know, the quality would be but I think it works out good, and the sound is okay, I think. Please let me know if you don't think so. But yeah, I was trying to say something. Oh, I need to get some lunch. Thank you for sticking with me. If there are any questions about anything really, let me know, and if I don't want to answer, I won't, but I'll probably be okay with answering. Click the likes button if you want to. I'll be happy if you do. Subscribe if you want to. You can follow me, as I said, and you can find me, as I said, and follow me if you want to on Ravelry and Instagram as sjomajlin, and don't hesitate to get in touch if you want to. I'm sure you'll be able to work it out somehow on any platform that is suitable. And that's it. I believe I'll see you next week, and I do wish that you take care and that you be kind to yourself and to one another until then, and have a lovely weekend and week ahead, and I'll see you next time.